This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. It is one of the pricier things in your home when it comes to your kitchen, your bathroom. Many of us don't realize the expense that goes into it, but there's a lot going in there in terms of functionality and materials, color, and all of that. I'm referring to the cabinets in your home. We're going to look at that today and what can be done, the process to redesign your cabinets, to come up with something that works within your goals, within your kitchen, even in your bathroom. She is somebody that works with people on this all the time. Everything from interior design and so much more. Today we center on the cabinets with the owner of Tab Interior Designs. Trish Bonney is back with us. How is everything with you today?
Good. How about you?
I had no idea cabinets were that expensive, or the biggest, one of the biggest numbers in your kitchen. I would think it would be the appliances, the design. Why is it such an expense?
Well, to start off, I would say yes, appliances can take over cabinets. It's all about the cabinets that you select and the quality. So if you, and I'm not knocking these at all, but like IKEA cabinets, for example, if you need a budget friendly with a decent quality, there's nothing wrong with IKEA cabinets and you can splurge on your appliances. If you want cabinets that are going to be very long lasting, um, you do want to look at the quality of them, but it's also the style can change the price as well. Right now, European cabinetry is becoming pretty popular, which is just plain simple flat front, no frills or thrills with it. And those are because of the popularity, they are a little pricier right now. But it's also the inserts that you add and if you are customizing them. If you're doing custom cabinets, which sometimes we have to because there's a weird size that you need or something like that, it's kind of unavoidable. But if you get standard stock cabinets, that's where you can save some money.
Where does the expense come in? The rest of us, a cabinet seems like a cabinet. Okay, so you can change the material, you can change the hardware, you can change some of the functionality of how it opens and I forget what that's called, but slowly closes. Oh, all the
Off
little things.
close.
It all
Yeah.
adds up. I get that. But what is the difference in, and I'm not minimizing any cabinets whatsoever. I've had, from more expensive to big box store cabinets that I bought a house and that's what they use most of it in one of those
Yeah.
stores, pretty much everything, including the bathroom. Um, what's going on there in terms of even like, I guess let's look at materials. What's the difference?
Well, to start with, it's the innards, the box that you don't really see. What kind of material is that made out of? Is it an MDF where it's a bunch of different particles, or is it plywood? Um, that is one thing to take into consideration. But again, are they inset? Are they soft close? It's pretty standard now. If you are getting cabinets that don't have soft close,
Hmm.
you're probably not getting good quality. That's something that is mass produced, one size fits all
Yep.
type of situation. But where your cost really comes in is the customization. Do you want it a specific color? Do you want it a specific wood? White oak has been, again, very popular for the past few years. We are now seeing a turn to darker woods. But what type of wood? Is it a maple? Is it a walnut? Walnut is a beautiful darker wood, great, great quality. So that one's going to be a higher price than your typical golden oak, which a lot of people are running away from that.
I,
But
it's so 90s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was very 90s and it was in everybody's house, and especially in Colorado where we had a big boom. Um, in a lot of places between Colorado Springs and Denver, the housing industry really busted out in the 90s, so golden oak is still everywhere.
Mm,
But one thing I can show you is some drawings that I would like to share with you.
sure.
Now, keep in mind, we are an architectural interior design firm. With that being said, we do our own architectural drawings. Um, a lot of clients where you have that two-story living room where it just goes way up to the second floor and it's wide open, a lot of them are building that space out and making a second story. So this particular client was doing a second story and they wanted to have a TV room for the family. And this is a little hard to explain, but this is a floor plan. Imagine you're laying on the ceiling looking down, and they wanted to do cabinetry along this wall. So here we're showing how it's going to look from, from the bird's eye view. With that being said, it is custom cabinetry. So it's not all typical sizes because we wanted to make it like an entertainment system look, but they wanted it built in. Built-in cabinetry is always added value to your home. And what I mean by that is you will get a return on investment because you are giving the next person who buys the home built-in storage. They don't have to buy furniture. But we do go and
Oh,
measure. We make sure that we have it all called out and measured properly for the contractor. And then to make sure our clients feel comfortable going forward, because it is an expense, we try to do these 3D representations of it as well. We just did a simple black and white just to make sure they were comfortable with it. The reason why this one is considered more custom is because of the height. It's not a typical height. Your typical kitchen cabinet height and even your bathroom height now is 3 feet high. So these are only 30 inches high. And then we have floating shelves being built for them at a certain thickness. So it was custom in that sense. We also did some very specific inserts on the inside for things like speakers and stereo equipment and storage needs. But again, we found a cabinet company that has a good quality. It is made in the US, so that helped as well to cut out tariffs. And I'm going to stop sharing this, but as much as we could, we tried to minimize the cost. The width of the boxes were standard. It was just the height. So how did we take into consideration while keeping the cost down? We just cut off the toe kick. Your toe kick in your kitchen is where it indents in. So when you step up to your cabinets, your toes don't slam into it immediately.
okay.
So it's just that recessed portion, which is actually not a functional piece of the cabinet. There's no storage in that toe kick unless you have a specialty drawer put in there. But by just cutting that off, the customization wasn't huge. It was just a little bit of an added expense, but not a lot, to be honest with you. And with the cabinet company that we're a dealer for, we were able to keep the cost down for them because they're a tab client. So that's the benefit of working with us. But and trying to find an inexpensive quality for something like this. Plus, their huge expense is in the construction. You do have to, for that type of it's not an addition, but for that type of project, you do have to get an engineer involved because you're putting in a whole brand new floor. So when people dream big, you try to do as much as humanly possible to really maximize their investment. So we were able to help them out with that. That client did want to go with a dark espresso wood, which again, like I said before, is becoming more popular. Dark, moody, warm. That is what's trending now more than anything.
Okay. I was kind of curious about that because there was, of course, we talk about the golden oak, and then over
Yeah.
time, then it got lighter and whiter for a
Yes.
period, maybe 5, 6 years, something like that. I thought that was still reasonably in, is it?
It's kind of like the 50 Shades of Grey moment. There are going to be people that always still love gray, and that's fine. But that is definitely, if you're selling your home, it'll date it. And same with modern farmhouse, that ship is kind of sailing as well.
Hmm.
The light or white on white on white, light, bright, and airy, all of that is just starting to fade off a little bit. If people are starting to do construction like right now, more bold, more warm, moody, that is what we are looking towards. With that being said, Pantone, which is your major color company for paint and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
they just came out
Oh,
this
I know
week
where you're going with this. Yeah,
with the
let's build
color.
this up. Then
Yes.
the hottest color right now, Pantone. They've been around for many decades. They are the color people. If something gets printed, shades, colors, things like that, it goes by a Pantone number. The biggest color right now, according to Pantone, is
White. For the
that's it.
first time ever in history, it is white. It's called Cloud Dancer.
Yep.
But what what I see about that, and I'm in my showroom, and you can see the background of my showroom is white.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, it allows you to have a blank slate, which I agree, that's great. It does symbolize serenity. And I think we are in such a chaotic time in life that maybe that's why white is the color, because it allows you to sit back and just reimagine things, especially when you're selling a home. What's the first color we suggest when you're selling a home? White. Just make it simple, make it clean, and allow the next person to reimagine. Maybe that's why white has
Mm.
become the thing for the first time ever. We need to do a lot of reimagining, and it doesn't mean you can't add other colors in there. And one of the biggest trends that we have seen in 2025 was color drenching.
Oh,
Um,
I've heard that term, but not even sure what that is.
so basically, and to be 100% honest, I've been doing that in my own home for years and years because I love, you just paint the entire room, including the fifth wall, your ceiling, all one color. And even your items in your space are, they incorporate that color. So we just did a house. It's actually originally an 1890s home, and we did a lot of color drenching, especially in the bedrooms, where one of them was called green black. It's basically almost black, but with a green tint to it. But we incorporated that color everywhere, even in the furniture. There's a little bit of it in the area rug. It's just you drench it in one color.
Hmm.
Um, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I feel for me, it's very soothing, and it's almost like it creates my little happy space for me, a little cocoon. I love that type of feeling. Some people don't, but the bright white allows the space to feel, very clean, and the opportunities for furniture and finishes and artwork is endless because you can see I have a lot of artwork behind me. So it allows me to put up anything against that and change out. I'm in a design showroom, so I'm going to change out my furnishings and stuff a lot. So I get it. Is it my favorite thing? No, not really. But it makes sense, to be honest with you.
I'm on your page about why the Pantone color of the year is basically white. I believe that because we're so impersonal, stressed out, have so much going on, distractions, all of that, the car is going to turn where
Yeah.
we're going to be craving the basics, actually talking to people and not pressing buttons and not hearing our menu selection has changed. Please listen for the it's AI, which is great. I use it every single day. There's a place for all of that, but the personal connection and the chaos has escalated. The personal connection has gone down. So kind of makes sense that white is like we're going back to basics, people. What it sounds like.
And I'm very interested to hear what all the other paint companies come out with. There
Mm.
was one year, and I can't remember if it was 22 or 23, where almost every single company came out with a different shade of green, which had never happened before. They all usually
Wow.
find a different color. So that was an interesting year, and that was when like we saw a huge push towards bringing the outside in, which it's called biophilic design.
Mm.
That is still a huge thing. We are still heavy on that. So green is a very popular color, but the fact that they all came out, even Pantone, they all had just a different shade of green. But I am really wondering what all the, like every single
Yeah,
paint
me too.
company has their own color of the year. So I'm really curious on how that's going to turn out.
And last year, if I remember correctly, Pantone color of the year was peach, like a light peach. Uh,
Yeah.
then there's been, violet, kind of magenta, maybe the year before that. So it's not like they're abandoning color, but it just changed. I agree with you, Trish.
Yeah,
I agree.
maybe it's just a blank slate. Let's start from
Mhm.
bottom zero and go from there and see how it goes. But yeah.
Can you take us through the process of if somebody is redesigning cabinets or redoing their kitchen, what happens? How that all goes? Somebody works with you. What's the process?
We definitely have to measure first, and we will measure 4 or 5 times just to make sure because when you're ordering those,
Let, let
we
me
don't
let
want
me
to.
just jump in there, if I may. You will measure. There's
Oh
no
yeah.
we in that. I take.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to take that chance. It's probably going to be wrong anyway. Just saying.
Well, we have done I've done 3 kitchens outside of Colorado where I had to do it virtually. So I had my client, we were on a Zoom just like this. I did have my client measure over and over and over again, and we got it spot on. So that, you know, that can come into play if you do virtual design, but measuring is huge. You definitely want to make sure you don't order cabinets until new walls, if new walls are involved, are up. If you order them ahead of time, which has happened in a recent project of mine, it never goes well. Never. Um, that is definitely a red flag. Run from somebody if they want you to order cabinets prior to any construction being done. Uh, New walls should go in. And yes, it may cause a break in, the construction going forward. But if you don't have accurate measurements or take into consideration by putting in, there's things called fillers. It's just spacers. Can we do it with spacers? Yes. That's not the ideal situation. If you
Mhm.
are able to do it once the walls go in, that's ideal. If you want to do it with spacers, you better have plenty of space taken into consideration. Um, but that's the biggest thing is getting those measurements right. You have to go through with the client picking out the style of cabinetry, the color of the cabinetry. Are you getting cabinets that are prefabbed, which means they're already made, or are they coming in a box and they have to be put together? So there's those things to take in consideration, but honestly, the key is the measurements.
Um, as I go, measure twice, cut once. The
Measure 5 times.
Fair enough. There's a lot on the line here. With making sure the walls are in, I'm trying to visualize why that would be. That, yeah, and of course, you want to, if you can, make sure the wall is in, then measure for the cabinets and all of that. Why is that? There's that much variation of a wall.
Well, unfortunately, nobody is perfect, and I've never met a wall that's 100% plumb.
Okay.
The other thing is once your walls go in, your permits have all been completed and all the inspections have been done. So the house that I was talking about is that 1880s house or 90s house. Um, the city did, the client was convinced to order his cabinets ahead of time. This was pre working with Tab. I want to please make sure I preface that. But because of the year of the house, Denver, which is the major city that this house is in, did not approve the walls as they were shown in the architectural drawings. They required the contractor to fur in the walls even more, which that means increasing the depth interior of the walls. So the drawings that were originally given to the city to what actually was built was almost a foot off. So his cabinets didn't fit at all.
Oh my gosh.
So that was
Huge.
where me as a designer had to take somebody else's work and had a massive, for lack of better words, it was a huge oh shit moment. We had to work it and make it fit. We had to have the contractor cut up one of the boxes, and we had to do a couple of weird little changes, but thankfully it wasn't huge. We were able to do it because thankfully they put in some spacers, but it impacted the client financially because of some things we had to change.
Some spacers a foot. I mean, we're talking like, spacers
That's a
like
lot.
3 4 by 4.
Yeah.
Then nailed
Yeah,
together.
we had to do some off the end
Yeah.
engineering
You
changes.
had to get creative, like massively. And I would never expected you to say that. I'm thinking that, all right, worst should be off by like an inch or something like that, which is a big deal if you've already ordered the cabinets and you're ready for that. And now the wall is, bowing out. And
Yeah.
this is why we're talking about it. There's so much
Yeah.
involved with cabinets. Trish, how can somebody connect with you? And the nice thing is you can do some things virtually. Somebody can show you what they have. You could direct them in terms of measurements and all of that. How do we find you?
The easiest way to find us is go on Google and just Google tab interior designs. It'll bring up all the places that you can find us at, and we would love to connect to see if we can help you.
I want to conclude here today by saying that there has never been a time where I've asked a question or said something that you were at a loss of words. This is how well you know what you do. It's pretty
Thank you.
amazing. There's no script here. We're just, free falling, and you've got the answers because you know the business. And I appreciate that. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.